High noon on a Celtics Wednesday. It is Jones and Keefe on WEEI. We talk Celtics to start the show. Mixed in some Bruins and Super Bowl 59 thoughts. Drake May, where does he stack up with all these quarterbacks? It's time to get back to the C's with Justin Turpin of WEEI. He joins us every Wednesday at high noon. What's up, Turp?
What's up, guys?
Hello. Big trade just moments ago, so we get your instant reaction to the Jaden Springer deal.
Yeah, it was always the most likely trade. I mean, they were shopping this in the offseason. It's a 22-year-old guy, and you would hope that his recent play would have given a little bit more than just a salary dump, but you save $15 million in taxes by getting rid of him. He was making $4 million on an expiring deal, so this was by far the most likely outcome, and it's not really surprising that it happened.
So is it a move just to save money, or is it a move to get below, the second apron, so that they can make another move?
Yeah, they can't get out of the second apron regardless.
But they didn't get under any threshold with this move. It's just a bookkeeping thing.
This was a bookkeeping thing, yes. So they just saved $15 with the repeater tax.
Does it free them up to make a move for a veteran on the buyout market, a little higher salary for that?
No, because they'd still have to be under the
all it is just saving Irv some money.
Yeah, it was
before he gets out.
It was a
$15 million though.
Book move. That was $15 million.
Yeah, what do I care about Irv's $15 million?
What do you care about Jaden Springer?
But I don't know.
That's a lot to pay for a guy who wasn't really playing.
Like, would you pay $15 million?
He just played against the team they traded him to.
He wasn't going to be in the playoff
Okay,
rotation,
but would I rather have a player who has been in the rotation or save Irv some money? I'd rather have the guy on the team.
I guess, but like if they were, I don't think he does much.
But
he averaged 5 minutes.
This move doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything.
It saves him $15 million.
Yeah, save him some bucks.
To use it for what?
They're going to give it back to the fans.
Right. This goes right into Irv's pocket. What do I care about that?
They're going to do a big money drop in the Garden, and all the fans get to grab it. Here's Jaden Springer's money.
They're completely locked into the second apron, so they can't.
So I thought this would give him some kind of benefit beyond just saving some money. It gives him no benefit.
A salary dump. That's all. And unfortunately, like you would have hoped.
But if they're not salary dump, I don't care about it like you do. It's not like they salary dump Drew Holiday or like Porzingis.
But I don't care about Jaden Springer.
Right. It kind of sounds like you do.
No, but it's just at the end of the day, you're trading a guy who you deemed a roster spot worthy of to now just save a few bucks. That's just
it just didn't work out. I think.
What was your favorite Jaden Springer moment?
It was the comeback against, or the fourth quarter game against the Bulls. I like those 7 minutes against the Rockets.
He lit it up.
I mean, it just didn't work out with the shooting. I think that's what kept him off the floor.
How is he going to fit with not to spend a lot of time on this, but Udoka, I think, is going to like him.
Be a great fit. I mean, look at how defensive heavy that scheme is in Houston. Like, that's going to be a great fit.
They're going to be such a pain in the ass to play. Like, I think they're going to lose in the playoffs.
Do you guys like him or do you not? If he's a great fit on the Rockets, what are they trading him for?
They don't use him here. They don't even play him here. He's got nowhere to go. He doesn't shoot. They need him to shoot more.
I mean, $15 million in tax is a lot to pay for a guy that's not going to crack your rotation in the postseason. If he did, it'd be the end of quarters.
Yeah, he's not even a top 10 guy on the team, I don't think.
Like he fell out of the rotation.
He just played against the team they traded him to, who's in a playoff
push.
But
we're talking about the basketball in February. We're talking come postseason. He's not going to be in the rotation. You don't want to pay $15 million for that guy. It totally makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't know who's going to be in the rotation if there's injuries and things like that. So if it's just saving money, if it's just saving money, I don't like it. Do you think it's interesting the Celtics made a deal with Ime? Just period. The Twitch chat pointed this out. It's a good observation.
Yeah.
Do you think it's interesting that they were just willing to make a deal with the Rockets and Ime, period?
I don't, because those two guys never overlapped. Like, Springer only played for Joe. Those two never overlapped. And again, you look at just like the type of player he is. I think he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the league. And you put him in a very defensive-heavy scheme in Houston, and they have assets to trade. It makes sense, especially if you can get a pounce on a guy like that. So I don't.
Well, now you're talking me out of it, Turp. If he's that good defensively, maybe now I want him. Maybe I want him.
Also, look at what they have, and he's on an expiring deal. Who would have known if he would have came back? Although he's a restricted free agent this offseason, who would have known? So it's just. The $15 million is a lot to pay for a guy that's just not going to really play.
He only played over 10 minutes 3 games this year. That Bulls game that we talked about, actually twice against the Bulls. So he clearly has some sort of matchup against the Bulls that they liked. And then also against the Clippers a couple of weeks ago. Where he hit 2 big threes.
So I thought this would at least give him an option to get more than a $12 million, $13 million player
what
on the
about,
buyout
is there
market.
Something else? Is this one of something else? Not necessarily to bring somebody in, but is there anybody else likely to go that would then free them up, or there's really nothing they can do?
The only other one I could see them moving on from is Xavier Tillman.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jaylen. I thought you were going to say Jaylen.
I didn't subscribe to that. No, they're not going to.
Oh, Tillman maybe?
Yeah, I think Tillman's the only other one. I mean, Jordan Walsh would be a long shot, I guess, but I just don't see any way that happens. So they're going to they're going to maybe keep looking. Of course, they're having conversations like they do every year, but I'd expect them to be more active on the buyout market, maybe even keep one of those open roster spots because they have 2 going into the postseason.
Celtics Wednesday here on Jones and Keefe. You want to talk Celtics? Your phone number to do so, 617-779-7937. Good time to ask Turp any questions about the team. He covers them. He's there every day. So you can ask those on the phones as well. You probably were less concerned than certainly I was, and even Keefe, about the Celtics. Is last night the evidence for those out there who feel, the team got a little bored, they were having a rough patch, but there were no reasons for concern, they can flip the switch whenever they want to? Is last night evidence for that crowd that they can turn it on when they need to?
For sure, and I even think the Philadelphia game was too. I mean, when they go down and they come back with that big run, they just flip the switch. And it hasn't always worked. They've played a lot this year like they can just turn up like that. They did against Philadelphia. Obviously, that wasn't going to work against a team like Cleveland. But yeah, when they defend, wonderful things happen when they play defense and make their shots. So we're starting to see them start to ramp up. And Kristaps Porzingis talked about it last night where they're starting to bringing that intensity night in and night out. And we've been saying it for the last couple weeks. Like, it's not realistic to expect them to bring that every single night. It's just not when the reigning champions. Last year, everything mattered because they were trying to prove something. Now they've proved it, so it's a lot different.
First 4-game winning streak since like Thanksgiving,
end of November,
right? Like end of November.
And they ripped off 7 in a row.
Yeah, so it's been a little while. What's your Keefe-spiracy on Jaylen Brown not playing at the end of the game?
Well, I think first of all, with the 5 fouls was a thing. I think Chris Forsberg, you mentioned earlier, was talking about maybe there was an injury thing, and we went back and pulled up the tape. And in the first quarter, he stepped on Max Strus stepped on his ankle, and he was a little shaken up by that. And he's been dealing with ankle things, but I think it really just comes down to it was working. They outscored them with Jaylen off the floor in the fourth quarter, and Joe Mazzulla, to his credit, or, people like to read into it a lot, though, he's not afraid to, get away from those people. Like, he's kept Derek White on the bench on the closing lineups. He's kept Drew Holiday. He's done it plenty of times. And I'm sure Jaylen wasn't happy about it. I know that was going to come up, and he's 100% not happy about it. But they're trying to win. Like, they are trying to win, especially in that scenario against Cleveland. They had a 15-point fourth quarter lead. If they had to win that game, if they blew that lead, then the conversations, all that goodwill they've built over the last couple of games would have just went right back to zero.
It was a crazy game for Jaylen, too, because he scored first 13 points for the team. And then
he's the only guy who could score to start the game for either team. But then he
scored 16, I think, for the game.
Yeah.
And he had a technical foul mixed in there in the second half. Like, he clearly was getting frustrated. So maybe it was ankle. Unfortunately, Mazzulla wasn't even asked about it after the game, so we'll have to wait until, I guess, they come home.
Does he have availability today? Like, do they do, like, a practice or anything?
No, he won't talk again until tomorrow before the game.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're home tomorrow against that new-look Mavs team.
Doesn't sound like AD's going to play, though. It sounds like Saturday.
Well, no, they traded 2 hurt guys for each other. Everyone's, like, so excited about this deal and, like, all hyped up about it. It's like, when are they going to play? Like, I don't know.
Well, they get the Lakers in March, so...
So we should see Luka.
We should get
no AD.
Luka for that one. Who knows what the playing weight will be, but you should get him for that one. No, just sticking with Jaylen for a moment, though. You said he's gone away from Holiday and he's gone away from White and even Porzingis and Horford. Like, aren't those guys different than Jaylen Brown? Like,
no, for sure.
Like Jaylen Brown with 5 fouls, I get it. You sit him for a stretch when he picks up his 5th, which is what they did. Don't you get him in there for the final 2 minutes for his defense and shot making? And I think clutch free throws can be an issue for him here and there, but you want him on the floor to hit free throws. I still think that was odd. It's different to sit down, even as good of players as they are, White and Holiday and guys like that versus Jaylen.
Oh, no, 100%. This is the first time we've seen it with Jaylen. And again, Jaylen, I guarantee, did not take that kindly. He was not happy about it, but I mean, Joe just wants to win, and if he believes those guys are the ones that give him the best chance to do it, that's what they're going to do. Again, they outscored Cleveland, and right after Jaylen checked out is when Derek White got hot, and maybe inserting Jaylen back in would have maybe taken the ball away out of Derek White's hands a little bit, and he was red hot in the fourth quarter. So there's a lot that goes into it, and it's not like, again, we're talking about a game in February, and I mean, Jaylen Brown, come the postseason, is going to be in your closing lineup. So a couple months from now, we're not going to even remember this. We're never going to talk about this.
I've thought Cleveland's the next best team, the toughest challenger all year. Jones thinks it's the Knicks. Brad Stevens thought it was the Cavs. Where are you at now? Even if you had somebody different at the beginning of the year, where are you at now in the East?
I mean, they're 40-10, and still the thing with them is they've cooled off a little bit as recently. Like, their defense fell out of the top 20 in the last month, so they have to clean up there. But they have 3 All-Stars, and that's a legit team that I'm really looking at. And the hierarchy of the East, I'm just looking at New York, Boston, Cleveland. Those are the three teams.
There's really nobody else, right?
There's really nobody else. I don't think Milwaukee got any
better. You
better.
don't think Kuzma's going to get it done?
I do not. No, I do not think.
What do you think of that trade?
Better. I think it was bizarre. And, it's kind of disrespectful to Chris Middleton, don't you think? Like, this guy won a championship, gave everything. Like, I know the injuries play into it, and, of course, it's a cruel business, like we just saw with
But
Luka,
he has a massive player option for next year.
So you're
gonna, like, we don't want to pay $34 million.
We're talking a $15 million contract with Springer, and then you're talking the Middleton one's a little different. So
I can't wait for Doc to throw Kuzma under the bus and after a massive playoff loss, throw him under the bus because he doesn't get defensive rotations. Something like I can't wait for Doc to do that because that's going to happen.
I'd be surprised if Middleton stays there though. Either bought out or
maybe
he's going to be on the move again. He's not going to wear a Wizards jersey. I'd be shocked.
The point stands that I don't fear Milwaukee. I don't fear most of these teams in the East. Fearing them is the wrong word.
I fear no man.
The reason that I think New York is a tougher matchup for the Celtics, I don't trust every night Cleveland's going to have another guy going besides Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell's a killer, and he's terrifying at the end of some of these games. He missed some threes last night in the final stretch that could have made the game go differently. We'll knock him for missing the shots. That's fine. But he's terrifying in some of these games. Nobody else scares me on Cleveland. The Knicks have other guys who I feel like
does Towns in the playoffs scare you?
No, but
I feel like he could wither away.
More than what's on Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jaylen Brunson,
he's better than Mobley, but I don't know. I'm not a huge Towns guy. Brunson's badass. Mitchell is.
Josh Hart. I'm a big fan of his.
I like
Josh Hart.
I like Hart as well. I feel like the Knicks, you have guys who are going to show up.
Darius Garland.
They feel deep. I don't like Garland. I don't really love Mobley. I see the talent with Mobley, the athleticism, the way he moves. I see all that, but I don't trust on him to show up in a 7-game series every night. I don't.
And they have matchup issues with the Celtics, Cleveland. I mean, they went at Garland all night last night, and that killer whale offense was just in full effect. Like, they were picking the matchups they wanted, and they got it every time. And I know the shooting percentages weren't great. They shot 40% from the field, which obviously is very mediocre, but I thought the process was great, and they were getting the shots that they want. And if you give them those shots in a 7-game series, I mean, Cleveland really is going to struggle.
I know the team's been on the road, but I'm curious what those guys thought of the Luka AD trade because they all follow it. There was that great shot of the guys on the Suns finding out about it on the bench, Durant and Beal being like, "What in the world is this?" We've talked to you off the air about it, but on the air, what was your initial thought of the Luka AD trade?
Yeah, it's been like a half a week, and I'm still as confused as I was when I first saw it. Like, I can't fathom it. And the fact that you didn't shop him around, if you don't want to commit to him because you have issues with the conditioning or whatever, I don't understand that. I don't agree with it. The guy's been top 8 in MVP voting the last 5 years, first team All-NBA each of those years. So I don't agree with it. But if you're going to do it, shop him. Like, see what you can get. You got 1 first-round pick and Anthony Davis, who's 6 years older than Luka. And Anthony Davis is still a great player. Mm-hmm. And, in the short term, he's going to contribute. But it's Luka Doncic. Like, it just makes no sense to me.
Do you have any concerns whatsoever? Because some people push back on this. I heard Perk the other day just laughing at the idea that LeBron and Luka couldn't play together. Do you have any concerns about how they fit?
I mean, I can see it just because they're both so ball dominant and want to score, but I do think LeBron's going to embrace this role and have a chance to kind of mold Luka, and that's an underrated aspect, I think, of this trade is you're giving Luka one of the best athletes. Some consider, I know not Keefe, but some consider to be the great
athlete
in the sport.
No, God, no.
And, he's 40 years old, still contributing at the level he's doing.
Time out, Turp, not to derail this.
Yes.
MJ or LeBron?
I mean, I never saw MJ, so I side with LeBron.
You know that he exists, though, right?
No, of course I do. Of course I do. But I side with LeBron.
Nice.
Yeah. I never saw The Godfather, so it can't be a good movie.
I also don't agree with the bubble being a Mickey Mouse.
Oh my God!
I mean, by the name of it, yes.
Oh
it was
my God!
Get him,
I think that was Mickey Mouse title.
Get him, that was a tough championship to win.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
LeBron got to take 3 months off. Anthony Davis needed it more than anybody else to take the time off. No traveling.
Get him. The break did.
But that's part of it.
There, yes, 100%.
That's a huge part of it.
There.
There's no road games. The Milwaukee Bucks were undefeated at home that year.
Either.
Yeah, you get
exactly.
No home court advantage.
No home court advantage,
you're stuck in,
which the Bucks
virtual
had.
Paul Pierce on the
wall.
That
was so fake. It's not even funny. That was such a
I
sham
think it
title.
was pure hoops.
It's weird.
That's what it was.
It's maybe some say it was the purest championship.
It was the purest championship.
Anthony Davis has had so many good 82-game seasons and won so many titles when they played the
postseason. No, I agree.
They would not have won.
That's the only knock on it I give it.
You know what?
There's zero chance that team wins the title if you had a real year.
Turp has convinced me. LeBron greater than MJ.
Yep.
You've convinced me.
That's
now,
right.
the more I flush it out, I think the Lakers created COVID. I think they're the ones that did it. They're like, we need something.
Lab leak.
Might have been Anthony Davis.
Laker leak theory is exactly what that was.
I think there's something up with that.
All right, Turp, I think you're onto something. It's the most hoops-oriented, purest championship
form of hoops.
in the history of the sport.
That's right.
I think Turp's onto something with
That's
this.
it.
No more home
Purest form of
stadiums.
hoops.
Just every team plays in one location. That's what we want.
All right, LeBron greater than MJ. Turp has swung me on that one. Good work, Turp.
That is insane. That is absolutely sickening. All right, yeah, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Who else do you think moves? Anybody?
For the Celtics?
No, league-wide. Like
that
big
Kevin Durant thing seems to really be picking
Kevin
up steam,
Durant?
which is interesting. Like, I could see a big trade kind of in full, and that's no reporting on that. That's just from what others are
Dude,
reporting.
he's going to play for more teams than Edwin Jackson when it's all said and done.
It is kind of
Kevin
wild.
Durant just
It'd be
like
pretty
hot
fun if he
potato.
went back to Golden State, though.
Who said this before the show? Was that you, Nick? That like the fact he moves around so much has to be.
How great is Kevin Durant? I get he's a great scorer. I get he's a great player, but he's traded like every year and a half.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Should we look back on him as like a Bernard King, where he was just like a high level? I know it was before your time, Turp, so he couldn't have been that good. But you know, like a high level
Didn't exist.
a high level scorer like that, where it's just a professional scorer. But
Carmelo.
great one. Actually, that's an even better one. Yeah,
Is he
should be.
Carmelo?
Yeah.
I mean, that Suns team, though, like, they thought they were going to compete for championships
Hilarious.
with Booker, Beal, and KD. It has been a dumpster
No,
fire.
they suck.
Like, just terrible.
Jimmy Butler going to get dealt?
The closer we get to
has
the
to,
deadline,
but
I
maybe
mean, I feel
not.
like it has to, but the closer we get to the deadline,
Is it
I feel like
tomorrow,
it's not
4
gonna-
p.m.?
3.
Ooh.
3 p.m.
Tomorrow, 3.
Good.
All right.
Either way, after
We'll
us.
be all
Did you see the
over
report
it.
that teams are altering their flight schedules so they're not in the air during the trade deadline to prevent awkwardness on the plane?
Oh, so
Has-
you're like, hey, bud, you just got traded?
Yes.
Hasn't this come up before? With like, didn't this come up with the Celtics, where there was a trade and they were all like, "Wait a minute, what?"
And they're on the plane back.
Didn't that
Pretty
happen?
sure the Celtics flew
Can
back.
you drop
last
me
night,
off
so
in
it would
Milwaukee
change.
before we land?
Layover.
Okay,
Yeah.
so best guess, yes or no? Durant gets traded.
I think yes. I think
Where does he go? Golden
back
State?
to Golden State.
Okay, yes or no? Jimmy Butler gets traded. You
No.
think no? Okay, where if he were to get traded, where does he go?
I think it's part of a bigger deal and possibly even that KD. Like, this could be like a massive trade.
Well, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, 'cause I thought the De'Aaron Fox, Zach LaVine, like all that, like that's a good basketball
the
trade.
big holdup is Bradley Beal and his no trade clause.
Oh, my
I mean,
God.
that's the big holdup. I feel like something would have been done. If
He's
not.
fallen off a cliff, hasn't he?
Terribly.
Yeah.
I really liked him in Washington.
Remember all those Bradley Beal for Jaylen Brown trades that we
Those were
talked
like
about?
2 years ago.
I know. It wasn't that long ago. And it's like, he went to, he's
Well-
from St. Louis. He and Tatum.
I was gonna say, you know, who probably would have done it. Tatum.
Tatum would have done
Yeah,
it.
Tatum,
yeah.
Tatum would have done it. I actually
It's like his big brother, he
Believe it
says,
or not,
right?
I've traded Jalen for 50 million guys over the years. All of them would have been terrible
Do you have a
trades.
favorite?
That was not one I ever would have. Probably Harden. I was like, I'd trade him for James Harden.
Harden,
Would have
yeah.
traded him for Westbrook. Would have traded him for Durant. I would have traded
Westbrook.
Paul
I would've-
George.
I would have definitely.
Yeah,
Butler.
PG-13. Butler was on the
I would
list
have
a bunch of
traded.
times.
I would have traded Jalen a million times. One guy I never said I'd trade him for was Bradley Beal.
Yeah, you had to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
That's,
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good,
Big
that's a
of me.
good win there.
That's very big of me. Thank you very much. Okay, so you think those guys could all move in one large deal? I heard.
I mean, literally anybody could be traded. That's what we also learned with Luka and Davis is two guys that weren't even rumored and one guy that we thought was legit untradeable. So, like, you throw a name out there. If they have a guy like Nico Harrison running the team, anybody could be traded.
This is a good text. I'm sorry to derail this again. 617-779-7937. Does Turp understand that GOAT means of all time?
Yeah, that's the 08
Not
team.
just that you've seen.
Yes. No, I do. But to me, it's it's LeBron.
Who's your GOAT?
It's LeBron.
It's LeBron.
His GOAT.
I think
It's my GOAT.
I think
The
Turp,
GOAT.
I think Turp has swung me.
No, you're not.
The
Purest form of hoops.
Keefe,
Michael Jordan
Keefe,
got
all of-
food
averaging
poisoned
like 40
and had to
in the
play a
bubble.
game in Utah.
the world was being ravaged outside of the bubble in Orlando.
Jordan had
Keefe.
a bad pizza one day, went out there and lit up the Jazz, who had 2 Hall of Famers on their team. Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I would like to play up at least who the Lakers went head to head with. That was a pretty disappointing Heat team.
I mean,
I just know
that was a disappointing
good thing to
just
know
time
that
in our lives.
Good thing to know Celtics fans wouldn't have counted that bubble championship.
I wouldn't
though.
have.
Good thing that
Hand to God.
nobody here would have given
Not
credit
me.
to that, raised the banner for that, treated it like a real championship, duck boat parades, little bubbles over them. Nothing like that. We wouldn't have done anything like that.
Them winning the in-season tournament last year also further proves my point on what a sham that was. Like, great, you guys can win like a little tournament. That's fun. What about a whole
behind the
brunch?
tournament? I thought you were a fan.
Man,
No,
no,
that's
wait.
him.
No,
That's him, not me.
So
You work on the
LeBron
show. Don't you pay attention?
winning the
Damn
in,
it, Turp.
LeBron winning
Mix
the
him up.
in-season
You're in
tournament.
the show photo.
Did MJ ever win the in-season tournament?
Nope.
No,
Right,
you
I'm
got
with Turp.
It is also on
I'm
his
with
reference
Turp.
page. I don't know if you noticed that.
That's
LeBron's
Turp.
reference
Turp, you've
page.
done it. You've done it. You swung me to the LeBron
23-24
side.
IST championship.
Did he ever beat Angola in the 1992 Olympics? LeBron, but he didn't. Jordan did.
Well, you want
Jordan beat him like 80.
You want to compare Olympic resumes? LeBron
Sure.
definitely has the Olympic resume over Jordan.
Did-
We're bringing in gold medals?
You want to bring in the college resume?
Nope.
Okay. Did you win a title in college?
No,
like
he
my guy
didn't
MJ
he
did?
he didn't have to go to college.
Was he maybe
Jordan,
not allowed in?
Jordan had to go to college.
What were his SATs?
Did LeBron ever get cut by his middle school
What
team?
were his ACTs?
LeBron made all of his AAU and junior high teams
Didn't
and everything
play
like that.
one Final Four.
No, he
That's
did
pretty
not.
bad.
That's true. All right, well, Turp, we appreciate the time. Thanks for settling the greatest of all time debate. And I do think
It's over. Settled.
I
It's
do
over.
think over. I do think I kind of miss Jaden Springer already. I like that deal.
Well, Turp says he's the best defender in the league.
I like the deal less after talking to Turp. I do.
One of the
on
best.
ball,
On-
on ball.
Oh, that's
defenders.
still pretty
Have you
good.
watched him on
I mean,
ball?
he plays
It's
3 minutes a
incredible.
night, Turp, so
It's true.
I
It's
see him
true.
sometimes.
I'm just happy for Wick and his siblings that they can make a few extra million. Good
50
for
it
them.
back
million's
to
a
the
lot of
fans.
money.
Yeah, no,
Give
good.
it back, Herb.
Good. I'm real happy about that. So that's Turp. Every
Money
Celtic-
night here at the Garden. You
Every-
walk in, we give you some of Jaden Springer's money.
Yeah, they parachute it down.
Yes, that's what I want.
It's every Celtics Wednesday with Turp here on Jones and